Hey, and welcome to Flosstube #1. My name is Cindy. I'm also known as the Scrappy Chick on Instagram. That started years ago on my blog, which is a former life. I'll tell you guys about that a little bit in a few minutes. So a little history about me, or how I got started cross-stitching. I am in my 50s now. I started when I was maybe early 20s, I think, when my kids had my first one had just been born, and I started on a birth sampler probably, and absolutely loved it. And then, like everybody else, fell off the wagon. I joined back up on that wagon around COVID, about 3.5 years ago, at the very beginning of COVID, when I was staying home and looking for things to do. I also started quilting again, which I learned to do as a little girl, and also put that down until early 20s, and then put that down again until recently in the last 3 years as well. So that is that journey. I've always been very crafty all the way through raising my children. I did stamp camps, I did scrapbook camps, I had a huge downline in Stampin' Up!, taught lots and lots of scrapbook classes, and lots of, not really retreats, but kind of local retreat type things, fundraisers. Had a ton of fun with all that. And then I've worked in and out of the craft business doing a little bit of everything from outside sales to companies to design team work for many, many years. Thus the blog was born, and the name, the Scrappy Chick. So I figured I would just stick with it. It kind of goes with quilting, maybe not so much as with cross stitch, but you know, hey, it works. So that's what we're going to stick with. I live in North Carolina, a little town of Lexington. It's kind of in the middle of the state. I live here with my husband of 5 years, Glenn, our little dog, and 2 cats. I have 4 grown children. They range from 20 to 30, and 1 granddaughter. My husband has 2 daughters and 3 grandkids. So we have a house full when we get everybody together. But enough about me. I'll share more another day, another Flosstube. Let's jump in, because I know that's why everybody's here, and that's what I know I always enjoy watching as well. So I'm going to kind of, at the beginning, stick with the system that everybody else kind of uses, see how that goes, and we'll go from there. So I thought I would start with a previous finish. And last year, this is one that I did from Primrose Cottage. And of course, I forgot to look up the name of this. Totally can't remember. But it was a really fun stitch. It actually went way quicker than what I thought it was going to. And I absolutely love how it turned out. I thought about making some little pillows to match this year. Lindsay's designed more that kind of go with this whole theme, the colors and everything. But I got sidetracked on other patriotic things this year, so that did not happen. So that's one previous finish. And then this year, I have some almost finishes. I don't have any fully finishes, because let me backtrack for a second. I would be filming in my she shed. I love my she shed. It's where all of the creative things happen for the most part, but it is 95 degrees out there in North Carolina right now. Very humid, and my she shed does not have air conditioning. It's potentially going to get it this summer. I do have a window unit, but I just did not feel like sweating while I'm filming a video. Anyway, so for that reason, after work, I haven't fully finished any of these things. But the first one that I wanted to share this is Blue House Neighborhood. This is from Cherry Hill Stitchery. It was a PDF download. I participated in Nicole Spore's Flossiversary So Long 2023. Can't remember the hashtag, but something to that effect. And I thought that that would be a fun long skinny, because I don't have really any of those in that shape. I have pre-cut already my sticky board and my fabric. I'll probably add some rickrack and just have a cute little paddle that's going to go behind that with some bows and cover button, all that jazz. I did finally break down and buy a dough ball, which I have wanted for some time, and didn't really have any pillows ready to go in that. I had bits and pieces. So this is one that I finished last year, and then I actually sewed it into the pillow form along with 2 others this year. This is Henpeck from Plum Street Samplers. I stitched this maybe 2 years ago, I believe, and just never finished it. I'm pretty guilty about that. And this is one that I started 2 years ago, finished last year. I believe this is a With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I did not pull out the charts on these because these have been finished for a while, so I apologize. In the future, I will absolutely look up what I did it on, if I share anything whatsoever. And this last one, I did stitch this one, finished it last month maybe. Stitched this mostly in April and then into May. And this one is in the book. It's in a book with some other things as well. It is in the book Sweet Land of Liberty, which is a Blackbird Designs book. I have a number of different things I'm either working on or plan to work on, and that one is called In Full Glory. And there's the finished as a pillow. As I said, I want to finish all 3 of these into little pillows to stick in the dough bowl for the whole patriotic thing. I just don't have enough time in the day to do everything I want to do. Do any of us? There we go. I've also got some other ones that potentially may go in there. Haven't really decided if they'll go together or not, but there's plenty more that are on my radar that I'd like to finish to go with these as well. And then my last other finish, so I was trying to figure out how far back to go in WIPS and all of that jazz. Since it's the first Flosstube, I really didn't want to start with a full WIP parade. That is just, it's just overwhelming. It's too many. So I thought, okay, well, let's, everything that I've worked on, maybe April, May, June kind of thing. And maybe not everything from April, but mostly. So this is one I did in May, and I did get this one finished as well. This one is stitched on Affogato 32 count fiber on a whim. 32 count has been my sweet spot. I have done a few things on 36 and I kind of like it. I don't think I've done enough to decide that I like that better than the 32, but I'm kind of leaning that way, and I'll share some about that in a few minutes when I get to a different project. But this one again is called Sweet Summer Come Again. Also Blackbird. I have been on a Blackbird kick lately, as well as Plum Street Samplers. They seem to be probably 2 of my favorites. But like everybody else, you know, I squirrel all over the place, and I love so many different designers. It's just kind of crazy. But instead of doing the circle finish, I think I'm just going to do a little square pillow finish. So that potentially could go in the dough ball since the colors match. And I have another strawberry one somewhere or another that I'm working on that potentially could kind of go with that whole thing as well. So that's kind of all the finishes that I have at the moment, or that are completely finished. I have a number of WIPs that I've been working on, and the one that I've been working on the last 3 days, so for April, May, and June, I have tried the 5 and 5, and I believe it was Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher, one of her friends that she stitches with and follows, had thrown that idea out there, and I loved it. I jumped right on that bandwagon because I don't know, if I get started on something and stitch until I get done, I get bored with it. If I only stitch for a day or 2, I put it away, never come back to it. So the 5 days is a nice long stretch that even if you can't get a project finished, you get some nice progress on that. So this is one that I picked up, I believe, in May. Maybe it wasn't May, maybe it was June actually, and did most of it. And the last 3 days, I have this one almost complete. This is ABC from Primrose Cottage. This is on a mystery 32 count linen I had gotten at my closest local needle workshop. Kind of small. They don't have a lot of the specialty linens that everybody, you know, raves about. But it's a really pretty ivory color, and I had a big piece of this, so that's what that ended up on. It's going to match 2 little other pillows that I stitched last year. When I get my bee display out later in the summer, I can share those as well. But again, that is ABC. That one is from Primrose Cottage, and I am super close to a finish on that. All I have to do, I believe, is this little top border and a couple little dash lines and whatnots, but pretty darn close to that. So I may actually get that one finished tonight. Also in that bag, and I haven't started yet, this is kind of in the plans section, so I'm jumping around already, but living in that same bag is a honey of a tiny town, which I think these are so flipping cute. I can't even stand them. I did get the frill as well. It's probably still hiding in the bag, but I think instead of using the colors, so let me backtrack, sorry. The Sweet Summer Come Again was in Called For Colors. Again, that was on Affogato Fiber on a Whim. The ABC was in the Called For Colors, and that was on the Mystery Vanilla Ivory Linen. This one, I think instead of doing the Called For Colors, because I tend to do that a lot, sometimes I'll tweak them a little bit. I think I want to kind of keep it near or in the same area display as the Primrose ones that I've done. So I think I'm going to kind of adapt these colors a little bit into closer to this, maybe pull from the fancy floss that I have. I don't have a huge selection, but I've got a pretty good start. And both of those live in this cute little project folio, which I made using a pattern from, can't remember her name. It was a suggestion from Nicole Spohr. I will share next time what that one is, and whether or not I start on that B, and hopefully I will, if nothing else, be finished with the ABC. So the next WIP that I've been working on, haven't done a ton of this. This was in the plans to do for Red, White, and June. And I picked up, because it's so stinking cute, I couldn't stand it, the Star Spangled Ornaments. I got the floss pack, and I'm stitching with all of those called for threads. I could not, however, get the Pebble. Pebble was out. I'm sure everybody ran into that challenge. So I bought a couple of different Luganas. Luganas, not my favorite. It's easy. Definitely 25 count is easy. It's great on my eyes. I love all that. I don't like the coverage as much personally, but I do like to have at least one stitch going that's on a little bit lower count, just to ease my eyes or for card stitching. I had taken this one when we went to the mountains, and this was great to stitch on when we were riding in the truck. It was mainly when all that whole ornament got done there, and then I did start this next one. Not much of a start on that, but anywho, so that is on, instead of Pebble, since I couldn't get Pebble, that one is on Pewter, which is also a Lugana that I picked up from Fat Quarter Shop when I got the Star Spangled Ornament book. These patterns are great. Full color, nice, big, chunky, huge symbols, so easy for us older folks to read. That lives in this bag, and this is one that I made. I had I won't call it an orphan block, because it's a block that I had made the first one to do the test, to see how they do, for a Chelsea Stratton quilt. And it's using Minnick & Simpson fabric. Absolutely love it. Would love to actually do that quilt one day. It just, like everything else, went by the wayside when other things came along. So anyway, so I stole the block, stuck it in a bag with the Minnick & Simpson backing that I had and some of the other, and I think that turned out super cute. Absolutely love it. So that is living in there. The next one I've been working on, I took the challenge from Colorado cross stitcher Sherry. She does summer camp each year, and last year I kind of missed the boat completely, and this year I said, no, I'm gonna do it. But of course I picked something too big, so I didn't finish it, but I did get a lot of good progress, so I'm very happy with that. And that is Strawberry Fields Forever. This is another blackbird. I've had that for quite a few months, and I've been itching to start on it, and kept trying to finish some other things up before I started something else, especially for me, a little bit larger of a project. But I couldn't resist. So her challenge for June was something with a bird. And this one has a little bird right there. Haven't gotten to the bird yet, but this is where I'm at on that one. I'm using all the called for colors for this one, except for the white. I am using, I believe, Parchment from WIPS, but it had called for lamb's wool. I couldn't get lamb's wool. Nobody had it. So Parchment it was. And this is being stitched on a 32 count WIPS Dye Works piece of linen called Confederate Gray. WIPS is not my absolute favorite linen, but I don't hate it. It's okay. It's okay. So that is Strawberry Fields Forever. That's the pretty threads, minus the parchment. And that is living in this bag that I made. This is all fig tree fabric from the Strawberry and Rhubarb line. Yes, I have a major obsession with project bags. Absolutely love to make them. I think I made this one based on Liz from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, her tutorial, as far as just like the bag shape, size, finishing, or whatever. And I created a small quilt block using, again, those fabrics from Strawberry and Rhubarb to make strawberry. And there's the back, and the inside is that one. Love it. It's a little flimsy for my taste, but I do like the bag, so can't complain on that. So there's that one. Haven't been working on that one this month, but I worked a lot on that one last month. The next one that I've been working on every month is, so my youngest daughter, I won't share all about all of my children right now, but my youngest daughter, her husband did a class out in, not North Dakota, not Iowa. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm blanking on it. Where they went. Oklahoma. He was doing a flight class as a, not a flight, he's already a pilot. He was doing a class in air traffic control to see, you know, how he would do with that. He actually was doing great. He was passing all of his courses with flying colors. He's top of his class. He just wasn't really enjoying it. He missed flying. So they thought, though, that they were moving. So when she went out there to join him during his training, I bought us the duo of patterns, the Heartstring Samplery Sting and the Plum Street Samplers Float, and made us both a project bag. She has stitched a little here and there, and I decided, you know what? We could do, instead of a normal little coffee date, we could do a FaceTime coffee date. So I got all the things ready so that we could do this together. So that's the bag that I made for us. That is out of gingerbread fabric. I don't remember the fabric line. Just some random pieces on there. We both have matching bags. The beautiful floss. I think those colors are really pretty. And that's as far as I've gotten on that one. I'm about halfway, not quite, almost halfway through Sting. This one though, the first day we got it out, we stitched on it together, and I stitched on it for a couple of days, and that was end of April, I believe. Worked on it a little bit in May when I was with her, but I was working on something else, so I put it down. And this weekend we got together and I worked on it some while we were together. And I decided, since she's new at it, she's still a little slow and she's not stitching a lot by herself. It's not that she's not good at it or doesn't enjoy it, but you know, life is just busy. So stitching time is with mom time for her, which I'm totally fine with that. So I'm just saving this one for whenever I get together with that daughter and we work on those together. So that's how far I am with that. That one's going to be a slow progression, but I should be able to touch it every month, which is, you know, that's some progress, and that's a good thing. Only got a few more. It's not going to be a super long video. So the next one that I've been working on is the Milk and Cream Company. This is also a Plum Street sampler. Plum Street Samplers from Paulette. And this is one I started, oh gosh, like 2 years ago, and I stuck it away after a few months, honestly. Kind of forgot about it. And I was going through one of my WIP buckets. I have a couple. I keep one by my couch, which has kind of all the things I'm working on that month, and maybe one or two other things if I just, get a wild hair and want to do something totally different. And then I have another bucket in there, which are things that I might work on the next month, or maybe a holiday thing if I get in the mood. And for some reason, this one was in there, and I pulled it out, and I need to do before and afters. I am so close to a finish on this. I still had to do, about a month ago, I still had to do all of this fill-in of the eggshell. So I don't like stitching white. I don't like stitching eggshell anymore. And that's a lot of just fill in. So I decided this was going to be my car stitch at work. I only get a 30-minute break by the time I eat and, this and that. I don't have a lot of stitching time, but that's a good solid maybe 10 minutes every day. So over the last month, I have finished that, the bucket. I think I worked on another flower. I think all I have to do now, there's still a teeny bit of fill-in down in here, but I think all I have to do now are a couple more flowers, the 1/1, which I have never done in the middle of a piece where it's 2/2, but just a little bit of finishing, and that should be done. If I keep it as my car stitch, it may take another, I don't know, a few weeks. If I bring it home and work on it, I could probably finish it in a night or two. There's not much left at all of that one. I am using all the called for colors on that one. That is the one that I had originally bought that mystery linen for, and just really liked it. I had a large piece because they wouldn't sell a smaller piece. So just slowly plugging along on that. That one lives in a bag I made a couple of years ago, also with fig tree fabric. I love fig tree. I think this was Scarlet and Sage, if I remember correctly. So that's the car stitch. I have worked on that just about every day this week. I'm going to pause for a second. I've still got a couple more WIPs that I'm in the middle of, and kind of show you. So I love any kind of art, any kind of color. I love art journaling. I love scrapbooking. I love card making. I love Zentangle, you name it, I love it. I also love calendars and planners and markers and any of that kind of stuff. So when the bullet journal craze hit a few years ago, my daughter and I both started that, and I've been in and out of various bullet journals for the last few years. This one I have been way more consistent on, and somewhere in the middle, I decided, after I had watched a video from Unfinished Stitches, which is mom and daughter. Madison is the daughter, and mom is Bonnie, I believe. They both are into journaling, bullet journaling, and all that. And Bonnie had shared her journal where she listed all of her projects. And I was like, oh, okay. I've thought about doing that before. It was on paper, never finished it or anything. So instead of listing every single project, somewhere back here is the list of things that I had finished. So at the beginning of 2023, I started with, I had finished 21 projects in the 2 years I have been cross stitching. So I started with all my WIPs, and I started at 22 and came down here. The ones I started in 23, I have a little dot by, and then for each one, I have a little sub thing here that tells, what I stitched on, keep up with all that kind of nonsense and all. So that's there. A couple more pages there. And then I get back into, my regular calendar. So what I've been doing with the calendars is, for the big one, because I use a weekly for things going on at home and at work. But for the big monthly, what I've been doing is using it kind of like a book of days and writing what I stitched on that day. I've not been great about it. I've been pretty regular since I think March or April of doing this and trying to keep up with it a little bit better. I don't write down my time. I probably should. I am kind of a math nerd, so I'm surprised I don't count my stitches. I don't honestly know why people do, but I can sort of see why they would if you like numbers. It's just hard not to count. I just get sidetracked on other things and lose my count. So I have, a couple of months, and then when I run out of room, start in with the new number of WIPS. So it looks like at this point in time, if anybody's curious, that I started WIP number 62 on the 4th. 22 is where the WIP started. Everything previous to that was already done, so that's 40, but I have finished this year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So looks like I have 35 WIPs. It's not terrible. Not terrible. That's the first time I actually have counted them too. And then June, and working on July right now. And then there's a weekly with all my other little doodads and all. But one of the things I do in here too is I will kind of do my plans or goals for what I want to do that month. And that's where I'll kind of list out my 5 for 5. So this month, tentatively, my 5 for 5 was going to be the ABC. And if I got that done in less than 5 days, I was thinking about starting the Honey of a Tiny Town. So that was one. The second one is the one I'm getting ready to show you. That was my new start from the 4th. The third one, I want to put some days in on my Christmas one I'm working on. The fourth one, I'm going to show you here in a minute, and that's a hands-on design. And I think the fifth one for this month is either going to be This Is the Day, or I may start a Halloween, because I have two I want to start. Anyway, so I did decide on the 4th, though, to start a new start. And this one is Salute to Abigail. This is in that same Blackbird book, Sweet Land of Liberty. It's a few years old. And again, that's what that stitch looks like. I have wanted to do this for a long time. Bought the book last year, maybe this year, but quite a few months ago. And I kept coming back and forth, back and forth. I've never stitched with silk before. And I really wanted to try it, but I was really scared, and I couldn't find the colors that they used. She used silk from Thread Gatherer Silks, and I couldn't find anywhere that had them, and I really kind of wanted to see what they look like in person. So when I was so I have a couple of local needle workshops. There's the one that's in Greensboro, which is about an hour from me. Probably an older shop. It has a decent selection in there. There is one down at the beach, at Myrtle Beach, and that is Barefoot Needle Art. I love their little store. It's pretty new. And I go there at least once a year when we go to the beach. Not my husband's favorite thing to do, but he will go and sit in the car and let me go in for a while. So the last time I was there, I told him, hey, I really want to do this. I really want to try silks. So the girls there convinced me to try dinky dyes. That was not on my radar at all. But they're a little less expensive than some of the others, and the colors kind of worked. So these are the 4 that I picked up. And that is Blue Iris, Natural, Heartland, and, oh goodness, where's my 4th one? Delphinium. So those are the 4. So it's my first time stitching with silk. It is also my first time stitching on 40 count, because when we held up all the floss, did a little floss toss in there, and I went round and round and round and round, and everything was too light or too green or too mottled or too whatever. I kept coming back to this one, but this was a 40 count, so I was scared of it. But I finally decided, all right, this is really my first kind of true sampler, my first time with silk, and my first time on 40 count. So let's just knock them all out at one time. Why not? Because I like to jump right in with things. So I did. So the fabric And yes, Barefoot Needle Art. There's their cute little card. The fabric is a Zweigart 40 count linen. It's called Dark Cobblestone. And I love it. Absolutely love it. I actually, that's as far as I've gotten. Let's see. Yep, that's the top corner, top left-hand corner. That's where I usually start. Sometimes I'm a middle starter. I'm usually a corner starter. And I'm getting ready to change colors. I've got one more little leaf right there to do. I think that's going to be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I do love the 40 count. I cannot see it very well in my living room, which is where I tend to stitch a lot. I do stitch some on my porch in the morning. I'm a get up and drink my coffee and stitch for half an hour kind of person before I go to work. So the morning sunlight is actually really, really good for this. The silk, where have I been? Oh my gosh, I love the silk. It is so silky, so smooth, so soft. I just, okay. Yeah, I'm getting ready to spend a lot more money, I'm afraid, and I really don't need to. So I'm going to try to not do anything else in silk and anytime soon, because I have plenty of things planned that I'm going to work on and start. But again, so that is Salute to Abigail. That was my 4th of July start. I also worked on it yesterday and today. So what I thought I would do with that one, maybe, since we're beyond Patriotic, you know, I can work on it on the 4th. Yeah, that's a possibility. I thought about doing a thread a day in that one. I've not done that with any projects that I have. So I thought, well, let's just give that a go, at least for July, see how that goes, and maybe do one thread each morning, and see, you know, how far you get doing that, because I have no idea. This is the bag this lives in. I had made this for that Nicole Spohr sew-along, and since that project was finished, I decided this one just needed to hop right in there. This is also Minnick & Simpson fabric. I believe it was Belle Isle. That's the back. Love that pink. The inside, I use the same pink because I loved it so much. That's that bag. So that is Salute to Abigail. We're almost done. This one I started a couple of months ago, and this is Farmhouse Christmas. That's the first one. I'm not going to show you all of them. That's the first one in this series. It is from Little House Needleworks. Hadn't done anything from them for a while. So this is also a mystery linen. This was in my stash. It was all folded up nice and neat, and there was no label. None whatsoever. I counted the holes, and it appears to be a 32 count. I did start on the middle, and of course I, you know, get bored with one thing. No, that's not why I stopped this one. I couldn't decide if I liked that green or not, if it showed up. That's what it called for. I am using all the called for, and those are right here. Pretty, a little more muted than what I normally do. So I skipped on over to this one, and I think the green is going to show up okay. So I think we're going to keep doing with this one. When I started this, I had thought, oh, I'll do one a month. I'll be done by Christmas. No, not so much. So I'm thinking that might be part of my 5 for 5, work on it 5 days around the 25th. Because I was trying to only work on it on the 24th, 25th. So I think it needs some love this month. And that lives in an older bag that I made, just a basic little bag there. Couple more projects. This one is actually not even been started. This is one of the ones on my radar for the other 5 for 5. I've been wanting to do this for a long, long time. I finally got that chart. And there are the colors. Really pretty. I really prefer fancy floss, but every once in a while it's nice to just pull out the DMC. Save the money for sure. Way cheaper. And I wasn't feeling the black. I like black, okay. I don't have any in my stash that's a higher count. All I have is some 14 count Ada, which I really just can't stand Ada at all. But this piece is Ancient Ruin from Fox and Rabbit. I think that's just beautiful. I got that one from Hollis Hands Creates. I get a lot of my fabric from her. because she has all the fox and rabbit. Maybe not all, but she has a good selection of fox and rabbit. So, and that one is a 32 count. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do that one on. I don't know if I'm going to wait and start that another time. Might be a beach start, one of my kids' birthday starts. I honestly really haven't decided what I'm going to do with that, but it is calling to me. So if I get that urge to do something new this month, that'll be one of my 5 for 5s potentially. And that's living in this bag. This is using Tiger Lily's pattern. Tiger Lily makes the project keepers and sells them, but she also sells her pattern. Well, that was kind of fun. That's some puppy cotton fabric from a couple of years ago. All right, the last WIP, I promise, for today. And this is the day. And I was working furiously on this, I believe all through April and the beginning of May. That's all the really yummy colors. So pretty on the thread drops. And if you're not familiar, I can't imagine anyone not familiar with this one because we have all jumped on this bandwagon. This is the day from Plum Street Samplers. Absolutely beautiful stitch. I do have the companion piece, which is This I Know, and I would love to get this one finished this year so that I can start that one, because that one's also beautiful. And I'm stitching this on paper bark. This is 36 count, also from Fox and Rabbit, and got, you know, pretty decent start on that. Most of the flowers are done, most of the brick outline is done, and a number of the bricks. There is still a ton to go, but I got all that done in, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks. So I don't have a ton of stitching time. I probably could make more, but I just don't. I work full time, and there's other things that I enjoy doing too. My husband and I spend a lot of time together, and I just don't stitch hours at night. I stitch a little bit in the morning, and I stitch some when I get home from work most days, and once in a while in the evenings. Or if I have a long weekend when he's at work, he works every other weekend. Sometimes I will get some stitching time in, but that tends to be when I quilt. But anyway, so that one is not close to a finish, but I could get that done if I do that as a 5 for 5, maybe 2 more months. And that's in this little bag. So that's it for my WIPs. And again, that's just sort of what I've been working on this month, what I'm kind of planning to work on this month. And a couple of the other things that I have either touched or worked on in the last couple of months that I feel like are still current enough since we're starting at square one. You got my new start, you got my WIPs, my plans. So I'm going to finish ABC. I might start Honey of a Tiny Town. Going to work on Salute to Abigail. On the 13th and the 31st, I will do Halloween, and that has yet to be decided. I have a couple that I'm working on and a couple of new possibilities, of course. The Farmhouse Christmas, possibly Stitchy Talk. Oh, and I totally forgot about, I have Seaside Tiny Town on the way, and I'm very excited about that one. I ordered that one. So last weekend we went, 2 weekends ago, we went to the mountains. We went to Cherokee, North Carolina, which is very near Waynesville, I think it's Waynesville in North Carolina, and that is where Annabella's is. And I would kind of consider that my other local needlework shop. So you've got Barefoot Needle Art and Annabella's, one of the mountains, one of the beach, both 3 to 4 hours away. But you know, hey, they're both great shops. I got to meet Elaine. She was absolutely adorable, and her husband was great, and I can't wait to go back next time and see their new shop. So anyway, I did pick up things while I was there, but I ordered that from her, and that should be here hopefully in the next couple of days. But that brings me to haul. While where do you start with haul? We're just going to do the last couple of weeks. And while I was at Elaine's, I had to have this little fabric bundle. She calls them Bella bundles. She just does little mini bundles. And I love this fabric line. I can't remember, oh my gosh, what it's called. I've lost the package it came in. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's it right there. Harvest Wishes, I do believe. Anyway, I think that's really pretty. I love fall. So that was one of the things I picked up. And this layer cake was on sale. Hello. Absolutely adorable. Joy in the Journey. Joy in the Journey. It's a Riley Blake. And we are campers, and I love it. No idea what I'm going to do with that, but I had to have it. Had to have it. And of course I had to pick up a couple of patterns. I got a Plum Street Christmas Mini Moon. I love the moon ones that she has done. Thought that one was really pretty. And then I also picked up, I keep seeing this pop up all over Instagram and YouTube, Flosstube, and that is Midnight Watch from Blackbird Designs. Love this. This is the other stuff I just ordered. Part of the thread from Annabella's, she did not have all of it, and I ordered the rest from Holocyan's Creates. So that is a contender for starting on Halloween stitching for either the 13th or 31st. And the other contender is Halloween Hawk Run Hollow. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do all the Hawk Run Hollow ones, but Halloween was speaking to me. The colors really don't show that well in the pattern. I've started collecting them. I figured I would get 10 or 15 every time I go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's. It's all DMC, and there are 40 colors. 40, yes, that's correct. That's a lot of floss. And I do have a piece of fabric coming for that. So that one might get started this month as well. So that's all the haul I'm going to share for now. Because everything else I don't think I've really gotten lately. Oh, well, when I get to quilting, I'll share that too. And quilting is where I'm starting right now. So if you are not a quilter and you want to skip, now's the time to skip out. I'm going to just spend a few minutes talking about quilting, and then I'm going to let you guys go because I don't want it to be too long. This pattern right here, it's a Zen chic pattern with the celestial fabric, which I've been looking for something. I made my youngest daughter a quilt for her wedding, and I'll share that another time. And I had decided I wanted to make them all a quilt and couldn't figure out how to do it, and realized that my oldest son is getting ready to turn 30. So let's do them all a 30 birthday quilt like Liz did from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. So this is the middle section. He said he wanted something modern. He kind of wanted some purple. And I showed him a few things, and he liked this one. So that I'm working on right now. And then the rest of my haul, sorry, I forgot about this, is I am getting ready to work on at some point when I have time. I'm doing 2 block of the months right now. I like to have at least one going each year, 2 potentially. This one is Haunted Hexie. Absolutely flippin' love this. Oh my gosh, I love this fabric when it came out. I had bought a layer cake, maybe? I don't remember. So I have a little bit of it. It has some applique. I've never done the hexies. I am not a hand sewer. Absolutely not. But I've been watching somebody on YouTube that's putting together the sewing machine. So I may try that. So, whoops, I don't want to share. I don't think that has patterns. Oh, yeah, no, patterns in there. Anyway, so I have a couple of months of that one. That we'll consider haul. And then the other one is Coriander Quilts. This one is Joy Filled, and this is also a block of the month. So I've got the first 2 months of that as well. And I need to sit down and start that, but I have been busy with other projects lately. So at some point we'll work on that. Anyway, I think that's kind of it today. I am obviously not ready to do Q&A because this is the first video, so ask questions if you want, and we'll do some Q&A next time. I'm not quite ready to do giveaways because I have no idea if I'm even going to have an audience or where they're from, so we'll try and do that in another month or 2. I'm thinking I'll do a video maybe every other week. Sounds good, because like I said, I don't spend a ton of time stitching each day. I may touch 2 projects over 2 weeks. I may touch 4 or 5 or 6, depending on if I do my card project or not. If it happens to be a holiday, my 1 thread a day. So we'll see where it goes. But it's something I've been wanting to do a floss tube for a year or 2 because I like to talk. I don't like to hear myself talk. I hate to hear myself talk, but I just like to talk. And I love cross stitch. I love quilting. I love anything crafty. And I taught for years, so I love sharing the joy of what I share. And we'll see where it goes from here. But thank you guys for joining me today. It's been great, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.